Hey guys, welcome to Brew Stories. Well, it's our mission to meet the people and bring the stories from the best beers around.
That's right.
And today we're in a trading estate east of Newcastle to meet a brewery that's small but it's got very, very big plans.
Wow.
Box Social.
That's right, there's a number of brands that come under the banner of Box Social. There's 2 fantastic craft breweries. There's a successful city centre micropub. They've got massive plans for expansion. There's never been a better time to meet Rossi and Steve and find out what's going on inside the box.
Hi guys, thank you for having us. My first question is, how did Box Social start?
Strange one actually, to be fair. Ross was working at one stage working for Anarchy Brewery, but I think he'd left then by then and was probably working down at the Hop and Cleaver at the time. And I think he finished working there for some reason, or got finished from working there, or whatever, anyway. And it was getting to the stage where I thought, this is a bit daft, I'm having to pay like bills and all that for him and what have you. So one day I just decided, should we set up our own brewery? I said, oh, that's a good idea. We spotted this brewery, true as it was on Seaver, second hand. There was a guy from Stockport who was an ex-Geordie. All his casks were black and white and it was a second hand kit. I said, well, that do know nothing about brewing, he said, not the slightest. Just said, all right, we'll go down and have a look. So went and had a look, bought it, impulse, bought it. Thought, oh, now what? I had no idea how anything went. I'd taken a couple of photographs to give a look at how it was going to go, and we got back. Still had no idea, so we literally put it together bit by bit. And I've still to this day got one piece left. So that was 3 years ago, right, roughly.
So where did Box Social's name originate from?
It was an old, I'll tell you what it was, when I was in school, we used to use the term Box Social as someone, if they were having a house party, but didn't want everyone to know about the house party, it would be, it's not a house party, but just having a Box Social. And it's an old Victorian term for like a small gathering of people. And we just thought it kind of fitted in nicely with what we wanted to do as a brewery, and we wanted to always have like the little tasting room, a little kind of small pub, and get people together and all sitting and drinking and chatting with each other, which we found that it kind of started drifting out of pubs a little bit, and so that's why we settled on Box Social.
What's your background? Was there a life before beer?
Life before beer. Well, I was a fireman for 31 years with Tyne and Weir. So drank plenty of beer in my time, but never ever did one home brew years ago, and it turned out absolutely terrible, so never bothered again from that.
My background was more musical, really, bands and music and all sorts of stuff, but it was actually off the back of a music magazine I worked for in Newcastle called Narc magazine. I started home brewing while I was there, and got chatting to Anarchy Brewery, and that's how I landed my first kind of brewery job, and then been in brewing and beer ever since. So there was a life before beer, but it wasn't a great one.
So do you guys have a particular philosophy about brewing your beer?
Our philosophy has always kind of been just to try and brew something different. There was a time when we kind of went back and said, right, we should brew a blonde. Blondes are popular. And we brewed it a couple of times and then went, why are we doing this? The lads down the road at Hadrian, they brew a great blonde. Anarchy, who I used to work for, they brew a great blonde. Like, why? Since then, we just kind of reassessed what we were doing and had a bit of a rebrand and went, right, come on, let's just do some mad stuff. And we don't like particularly brewing traditional-ish styles. We always like to push the boundaries a little bit with what we do.
So how big is the brewery and how much beer do you produce?
The current site that we're at now, we're a 6-barrel brewery. The batches are just under 1,000 litres every time we brew. We are about to move to a new site just down the road, and we're scaling up to a 15-barrel kit, so it's quite a big jump up. And that'll allow us just to brew a lot more and kind of hit demands, and so it's great that we're that busy, but we need this site there down the road now, so we're really trying to push that along. We've had a few setbacks, but hopefully middle of August we'll be sorted and up and running down there.
So you guys are obviously going places, and when did you know back in the day then you had a beer that was really good?
We always ticked along quite well. with the likes of Gentleman's Nectar, which we've brewed since day one and we still brew now. But it was really kind of when I was just explaining before with knocking the blonde on the head, right, what should we brew? And it was come up with this beer idea that we could brew a campfire porter and base it around all the stuff you would kind of have when you went camping when you were little. And I just so happened to be at Northern Monk in the refectory having a drink, and Dave Kerr, who's now at Wylam, was there, and we were sharing a beer. He's giving us some tasters of their stuff, and I was explaining this beer idea. He said, "You know what it is? I'm up in Newcastle in a few weeks' time. We should make that beer." And we did, and it was meant to be a one-off, and we put it out, and the feedback was just ridiculous. We didn't expect it. We knew it was a good beer. So now, believe it or not, it's part of the core range of what we do. A 7% porter even sells on days like this. People still want to drink it. I think it's a good year-round beer. Personally, not something I would neck pints of in the sun, but I've seen people do it. So fair enough. So that was kind of the start of things when we both just went, right, there's a market for this kind of beer. That's all we wanted to know, and that's when we started pushing forward on more weird and wonderful beer ideas.
So brewing innovation is obviously very important to you guys. Is there a particular style that you haven't brewed yet that you'd like to brew?
There's a couple that we just can't do on the kit that we've got here that we will be able to do down the road. There's lots that we can't do with sour beer and Brett and bacteria because of cross-contamination, but once the new kit's in down the road, we'll kind of be using this site specifically for those styles of beers, so having a right play around with wild yeast and bacteria is going to be fun. Double IPAs we don't do a lot of here at the minute because the way in which we would normally like to dry hop a double IPA we can't do on the tanks that we've got, so we hold back on double IPAs and imperial stouts. Again, we don't brew here because we would find it really tough to do that.
We know you guys collaborate quite a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about upcoming projects?
Aye, so obviously Friday we just released alongside Wylam our double IPA, which was part of the Northern Powerhouse series of cans, and we're really pleased with it. It's absolutely lush. In fact, all the beers that we tried were brilliant. So Wylam's been a big one for us, so we massively appreciate that and all the promotion that's come along with it. It was nice to be asked to be a part of that.
What exactly do you get out of collaborating with people?
With the likes of, so Twisted Barrel, they're in Coventry, so they'll get half the beer in Coventry. They sell a lot into Birmingham. Well, we don't do much with Birmingham at the minute, so that's good for us.
That's really what we get for an exposure more than anything else. So on the back of that, we'll get a lot more orders,
So it's just fun as well, to be fair, because we meet all these brewers at all these beer festivals. It's nice to meet them outside of a beer festival and have a bit crack with them.
So palates are obviously changing, and what do you think is the next big thing in craft brewing?
For us, we're always just looking at new bits and bobs, and we always keep an eye on what people are doing outside of the northeast and try and bring a little bit back to the northeast. And as far as beer styles go, though, it could be out.
I think what you've done with Newburn Native Ales, doing stuff like that's become more and more popular. The sour beer itself's become more and more popular. We know for a fact because as soon as we get one on in the bar, people are straight in for the sour beer.
Chatting to a guy from Deschutes Brewery in America, and he basically said, so at the minute, obviously IPAs and APAs still number one in America. Number two, sour beer and saison. As the second biggest kind of craft beer style, obviously, and the lager. And that was kind of, what? Seriously? And he's like, oh, it's huge. So you've always got to kind of keep an eye on what the Americans are doing. So our beer that'll be coming out soon is like a brut IPA, kind of fermented out like a champagne to make it super dry. And this is kind of a style that's kicking off on the west coast of America right now. So we're trying to get in early doors before many breweries are doing it.
We know you have big plans for the future, so what can we look forward to from Box Social?
The thing I'd most likely look forward to is getting our brewery actually into the empty building that we've got sitting down there. We have been knocked back, but we've still got our eye on this other place, which may or may not come up, but it's a big project, to be fair, isn't it? So
Mhm.
I can't give too much away if I'm honest. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully that one will still come off, and that's hopefully going to be a combination of brewery, pub type thing as well. So
Yeah, it's got the space for it, so we're looking at possibly sticking a brewery in there and opening a brew pub, which we've said we want to do for a few years anyway, and hopefully by the time we're up and running down the road we'll have a bit more freedom and flexibility, because we're able to produce brewery wise more Newburn native ales out of here, some barrel aging ideally. We would like to do down the road a bit of barrel aging as well. An imperial campfire porter I'd like to do at some point shortly, and we've just been chatting with the guys at Buffalo Trace to get some bourbon barrels off them, so I'd like to do a bourbon barrel aged imperial campfire porter in time for Christmas if we can get in there at brewing on time. So that would be nice, and then obviously we're looking at doing, at the minute we still do a lot of cask. We're trying to switch more into keg, but again we've struggled to do that on the kit that we've got here. So we'll be going into keg in a big way, can in a big way, and then export is another thing that we're looking at massively for the new site.
And finally, can we try some of your lovely beer?
Absolutely.
oh, why not? Champion.
Let's get some.
So what are we drinking here, Andy?
We are drinking Inner City Sumo, which is a 5% APA.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's banging, isn't it? It's lovely.
Really nice, yeah.
It's really nice.
Well, I'd just like to say thanks to Ross and his dad there for letting us into the inside world of Box Social.
Yeah,
These guys are definitely going places.
absolutely. I reckon within the next 3 years they're going to be massive, huge. Yeah,
So why would you listen, Andy?
we do this.
For love of beer.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dean.
Cheers, guys.